What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Couch Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the 24, 25, and 26 draft classes. We're going to be talking even more about tight ends. I got new headphones. I'm refreshed. I'm feeling great. I cut the wire. I cut the cord, as you'd say. And I finally got
Oh, you cut the
Bluetooth
cord. Okay.
headphones. Yeah, that's what they say when you get rid of your cable, but I cut the
Yeah.
cord on the headphones. I used to be a professional music producer, and I'm like, man, those days are long gone. It's been over a decade I've done that. And so, like, why am I obsessed with all these things? Like, I'm podcasting now, so I'm good to go.
There
We're
you
going to talk
go.
a little bit about the past as well. I have some nostalgia. So, lots of cool stuff, a little bit of news to kick off this show. But before we do, last two episodes have been absolute fire. Views are
Oh
pretty
yeah.
decent compared to the last ones too. So it's not just I just looked at the views by the way while I was setting this up. So views confirm it as well. So the very last podcast we did, we talked about a scammer and different types of dynasty scams. It was absolute fire. Everyone loved it. So if you didn't watch it, make sure you go back and watch it or listen to it.
Yeah, we had a
That
guest
was
on Cash.
insane.
Did a great job. Oh yeah. Perfect.
Dynasty forensic evidence. Cash.
For real, man. It was some real
Yeah,
detective work out there.
it's funny, but
Oh
he
yeah.
really did that. Like,
Mhm.
they have this job called a forensic accountant, I think. So it's like if you ever laundered like a penny or you gave someone, they find it. That's because that's literally their job. That's all they do, and that's what he did. But for Dynasty, for his sleeper accounts, he was a forensic evidence guy. He tracked this guy down. It was so crazy. And it's entertaining too, is what's the thing? We're exposing a huge scam, but telling an interesting story and something that you guys got to look out for when you're doing Dynasty. The whole episode really brought it all together. It had all the emotions and everything you're looking for in fantasy. And we didn't talk a lot that day. It was 15 minutes, but other than that, we didn't talk too much about players. The one before that, second to last episode we did, the one right before that was another cornerstone episode you guys got to watch. It's when you went deep into tight ends. It was amazing. Everybody was
Okay.
into it. We were all learning. It was awesome. So you guys got to
I'm
check
glad.
those two out.
I'm glad that one went well. I'm good. Okay, I'm good. Okay.
Yeah,
Very
I
good.
mean,
Very good.
I think so. Yeah, I think it did. People say so, I say so, and the views say so.
More in the future, man. Who knows?
Some news to start off the past few days. So these are mostly rumors. We'll go through this really quick because I'm not the type of guy to blow news out of proportion and rumors out of, whoa, what is this guy going there? Is he crazy? Like, look, there's not a lot of news. I'm not gonna hype it up. Like I keep it real. Still some interesting stuff, though, stuff we want to know. Wide receiver Sky Moore trending upwards. This comment, like he's looking way good. He's taking a huge leap. This comment was from Andy Reid, though. I loved Sky Moore as a prospect, but I have a pretty good BS meter. It's pretty accurate most of the time. So I'm going to call BS on this because it's his head coach saying that. Like, what's his head coach supposed to say? Like, oh, my whole career, I never had a wide receiver other than T.O. for 1 year and Tyreek Hill, but we shipped him off. That's kind of Andy Reid's weak point. If you could say that as a head coach, he never really had
Sure.
those top wide receivers ever.
It's a
Still
very
great.
fair point of critical. Yeah.
Could be one of the best coach. Could be the best head coach ever. Andy, I love him. Like he's great. But this I'm saying not this specific thing that Andy Reid said that Sky Moore's taking a huge leak. I'm not buying this one. Are you buying this one?
Not yet. I can just because the depth chart and who's, ahead of him, so to speak, is not much to compete with. But I mean, again, I'm going to be one of those, let me see it first to believe it. I know Sky Moore is a smaller guy. We were both excited about him a year ago.
Not as much. Not
as much. Yeah. You were definitely the lead guy.
You didn't seem excited about him at all, actually. I would
really?
Say.
Second rounder for me. So I guess not compared to most who are taking him in round one. So that's fair. He can't play all over the field, which is going to help him, get snaps, get a role, because if you're not pigeonholed to this one, X or Y or Z or whatever, you can get targets in different ways, get more opportunities to see those targets. But again, bottom line for me, I'll say it once. I've said it once. I'll say it again. It's going to be a seeing is believing type of thing for me at this point. And even for all these guys, I'll let you continue with the next couple on the list. But for all these guys, it's going to be a kind of see is believe type of deal for me.
I like Sky Moore. I think he can take a big leap for sure, but this comment just kind of means nothing for me. Terrace Marshall, similar situation. Coach saying he's looking great. He can take a huge leap. Also, Adam Thielen saying he loves Terrace Marshall on what he's doing on and off the field. This one I'm believing a little bit more. Now that we have a real who's been Terrace Marshall's quarterbacks off the top of our head? Can we name them all? Let's go. Baker, PJ Walker, Sam Darnold.
Will Grier or no?
Grier.
Or is he before his time?
I don't even know who that is. I remember there was a white dude who came in at quarterback, and he was so bad that it actually hurt CMC. Once you get so bad that you hurt CMC, that means you're bad because CMC is QB proof. I mean, the guy
my God.
He's a stud. He's like one of the best fantasy running backs of all time. And that probably was him. He was third string that year. Cam Newton?
Newton, maybe.
He was on the Panthers after the Patriots, right?
He was, I think so, for a year.
Have been at the same
quick cup of tea, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. So regardless, so we're talking about like 6 guys. It was horrible. This is going to be the best QB he has,
easily by far. Yeah.
Look, I don't want to answer any dynasty questions, but we have one that's kind of right here. He's first time doing dynasty. He's got Bryce Young and Mac Jones. How do you feel about the QBs? I love Bryce Young. I don't like Mike Jones.
Yeah, same situation. Also, neither of them are exactly proven. So if this is a super flex league, I'm a little bit nervous for you, but I hope it can pan out.
That is
the hard way last.
That is true. I actually didn't. If it's super flex, you're kind of behind the 8 ball here.
Yeah.
Because if it's super flex, as we found out, we know QBs are the most important, and it's very hard to find one. And when you're on the outside looking in, it's very depressing. It's horrible. It's torturous. It's depressing. You question everything in life, and you wonder if you're ever going to get out of this hole. Because it's hard to find one. It's hard to find a franchise QB. NFL teams is like that. That's why NFL teams go like this. Here's all my picks. Give me RG3. Here's all my picks. Give me Jared Goff. Here's all my picks. Let me go Bryce. Like they go all in to
got to move the needle.
Trade
somehow,
everything to go get a franchise QB because it's very hard to get one and you need one. So you buying the Terrace Marshall hype?
I want to. Okay, so if Sky Moore was your guy, oh baby, this one was my guy. I want to because of what Adam Thielen is saying. I do have that kind of mantra on the back of my mind where it's like, real recognizes real. And, Adam Thielen, he is older right now for sure, but he's definitely, he's a guy who did it right. He's a junior college guy who climbed up the ranks, got to the NFL, had a very nice career. So he knows how to work hard on the field and off the field to, get the most out of the talent. So, if that's what he's saying, Adam Thielen, about Terrace Marshall, okay. I haven't dropped him, Terrace Marshall. I still have him on my team. So that's good news, at least. I'm going to be more hopeful on Terrace Marshall just because I had a higher evaluation on him. But again, same thing. I got to see it, especially with Bryce Young. We know about the size concerns and everything. I've got to see this one to believe it too.
I'm kind of believing it. Like,
okay,
these guys aren't like. Obviously, this is not like a slam dunk. Like, these are big question marks. Sky Moore, Terrace Marshall, but right now his main competition is DJ Chark. I think as long as he can keep him at bay, he's, I believe, bigger than DJ Chark. I think he can make it happen, man. I think there's actual hope for him right now. So I'm buying that a little bit. Romeo Doubs been getting touted left and right. He's Jordan Love's go-to guy. He looks great. This and that. I agree. I think everything they're saying is accurate. I just don't think in fantasy this team is really gonna be crushing it. It's gonna be about 5 or 6 players that are mid. And we're trying to come in first place in fantasy. That's the goal. And I don't think having a lot of Packers are going to do it for you. I do like Christian Watson in Best Ball Dynasty. Other than that, nah, kind of avoiding this team.
Sure. Same thing with me. Obviously, I'm a big Tucker Kraft guy, but that's not really for this season. That's more of a down the road type of ordeal. I see him and Christian Watson being, if anyone, the two guys who could really pop for fantasy football, and of course, whatever running back they'll get in the future. I just don't, for this season at least, I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. We're going to get to another headline later about kind of the direction we think the Packers are going in. That also gives me more reason to kind of, stay away from redraft Packers at least. Even for a rebuild, right? You were talking about the upside of Romeo Doubs. My evaluation from him last year, and I think this is one that I actually nailed. Like, if I were to tell you any prospect that I got right the most, I think it was Romeo Doubs last year. I was saying that he's going to be a very polished receiver coming out, but that Christian Watson is going to have more upside. So in the first, 5-6 weeks, we're going to see a lot of Romeo Doubs. It's going to be great for Romeo Doubs. And then once Christian Watson figures it out, once he has that moment in the NFL where everything starts clicking for him, then we're going to see Christian Watson surpass him. And that's kind of exactly what happened a little bit. So because of that, I still think Romeo Doubs is not a high upside guy. Pretty good NFL receiver. I think he's going to be way more useful for the Packers than for my fantasy football team. So for that reason, I'm probably just going to stay away no matter what hype is going on. And also, I do have a little bit of bias. I want to just reiterate that towards the tight end that I think will be emerging in the coming years. So those are my thoughts on Romeo Doubs. Good receiver, though.
Dak says he's going to pass. Yeah, he's just not, to me, he's not a guy who's going to win you fantasy football. I need that type of upside, and he doesn't provide it. Rumor that the Jets are really interested in Dalvin Cook, and they've been doing their homework. He could go to the Jets. I don't know how they sign him or do this. It just seems weird. I would love it in fantasy because I don't have Breece Hall in any dynasty league. So that would be great. I mean, as far as a football move, if you don't put a lot of money in Dalvin Cook, that's fine. This would completely screw fantasy football for people that have Breece Hall and even who drafted Izzy this year. I mean, do you see this to be true at all? Or is this Dalvin Cook's camp putting out a conspiracy just so he makes a couple more mil in Miami?
Very interesting question. I did not think we were going to go in that direction. Okay. I'm gonna say, let me give you a case for both ways. Let me say why it could be a conspiracy, why it could not be. So why it could be is, well, Miami definitely is going to need him more, and they've already presented out an offer. So if I'm Dalvin Cook, Couch, and you're Miami, you gave me the offer, and I don't like your offer, I'm going to try to get an offer from someone else that's higher. Maybe I want to work with you and not the other guy. So I'll come back and say, hey, I got this higher offer. Are you willing to match? So that could be one little thing going on. And then the other side of it, why I think might not be a conspiracy is because, well, the Jets know one thing, Couch. They know that they haven't won nothing since Joe Namath, and that they have Aaron Rodgers right now. So it's go time. It is absolutely go time. There is no next year. You win whatever period of time you've got Aaron Rodgers, you need to maximize every single moment of that time. Dalvin Cook does that. I get it. Horrible for fantasy. Breece Hall owners will be cribbing. Izzy Abanikanda owners probably would be wishing that they went in a different direction with their rookie pick. But for football, this would be an interesting move. I just question one thing, Couch. We're only in July, okay? And this is football, right? This isn't baseball or basketball where we have some injuries, not a ton. This is football where injuries will happen to every team every week. I just question that, if you're going to use this money right now on Dalvin Cook, which, let's be honest, he's a luxury item. He's a luxury player. I don't need a running back when I have Breece Hall and Abanikanda and whoever else. I just question that, what if they need that money to replace, let's say Sauce Gardner goes down, or let's say a receiver goes down. They need to get some other help. Will they have enough money to make it work? Maybe, maybe not.
There's
That's the
no
only
way
thing I
you
question.
there's no way you can replace Sauce.
Sure, but I mean, you know what
What are
I'm
you
saying?
gonna?
Like, replace some sort of
Well, that's what I
not
mean. You're
having
talking about
that
winning a
much of a
Super
drop off.
Bowl.
Yeah,
I know it is a luxury. It could be viewed as a waste of money. I get that, but I'm just saying, like, there's not much you can do with this money. You know that if you get Dalvin, here's why this could be real.
I see what you're
Brees
saying.
Hall recently had an ACL. That's it. That's
Yeah,
why the story is somewhat believable. If he didn't have an ACL, I'd be like, shut up. Like, stop. Like, just stop it. Like, you got Brees Hall, you have some depth, you're good. But what you do have is a running back coming off from a fresh ACL and not a whole lot of depth. You have a late round rookie and Michael Carter, who, I'm a fan of, but he's mid at best. He's just not explosive. He's not big. He's not, he's better than CEH, maybe a little bit.
So what is that saying? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's so I'm kind of quantifying it. Yeah. So it's like, you don't have that much. Oh, they have Zonovan Knight, it's Bam Knight. It's they have some stuff there, but they don't have like I it just doesn't scream like Super Bowl. So if they can get a deal with them, I think it was within the realm of reality. I think everything you said made sense except that last part where it's like, if they do have a need, there's just not a lot of things you can do. There's not a lot of on the free agency list other than Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
There's maybe a couple other guys, nothing that's going to be like, okay, Super Bowl, here we come. We're ready. They have good depth. So maybe they do this. It's really up to them taking a pay cut. And that's why. And then, by the way, for the listeners, I got Dalvin Cook in a Jets uniform. Don't know how that happened. This is a weirder one. DeAndre Hopkins. So we've all heard about a week ago he might go to the Titans or Patriots. What are you doing, bro? I thought you wanted to win a Super Bowl. So apparently he didn't get the memo. The t-shirt we're going to make, first you get the rookie contract, then you get the second contract, then you get the ring. So what are you doing here? Maybe, you know what? Maybe he didn't quite get the second contract he wanted. He got cut. That could be it. That dream was left half cooked,
unfulfilled.
Right?
Half cooked.
Yeah,
I got
not how. But that's how all my dreams are. When you go in reality, sometimes I accomplish my goals, and it's never the way I thought it was gonna be. Right, just never that way. But this guy, I don't know what he's gonna do, man. So he wants the ring, he wants the money. I don't know where he's gonna go. This one's a total question mark. I have a great feeling Dalvin Cook wants to go to Miami. He just wants to be respected. He wants a little bit of a decent contract there. I don't know what Hopkins is gonna do though.
I think Hopkins also knows that most evaluators are still very much in on him. It's not like the running back position where it's devalued and then, Dalvin Cook's older and blah, blah, blah. Like, even though DeAndre Hopkins is pushing 30, I think he might be 31 at this point, he's still one of the premier receivers in the league. No doubt. There's no doubt about it. And I think he knows that. And I think he's trying to create as much leverage as he can. But bottom line, I kind of agree with you. Like, what is he doing? You got to pick one here. Like, all right, do you want to go on the better team and take a little bit less money, get the ring, get the legacy, Super Bowl, DeAndre Hopkins, or do you want to just get the bag? There's no fault in just going and getting the bag. It's a very short career. It's a very physical career. It's very demanding. I get it. If you want to get the bag, go get the bag. That's fine. But you can't try to do both. It's not gonna work, man.
D-Hop just wants attention from the media. Absolutely not. He wants money.
Yeah.
Attention from the media is so cheap. That's like those lame people like on Twitter who don't get any attention. They want attention.
He's 31. He already had his highlight reels and attention. DeAndre Hopkins and D-Hop is being said on SNF. Like, he's already had his attention.
He don't care about that, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, he wants to get another 100 followers on Insta. Like he doesn't care. I'm telling you right now, he wants money and a ring. Like, pretty
Yes.
obvious.
Yes.
Yeah, trust me, dog.
Can't get both though. You got to pick one, my friend.
Well,
Pick
yeah,
one.
I mean, it's making sense. I mean, I guess he's just, he's trying to kind of avoid OTAs, trying to build some
Oh, that's
buzz, trying to
true. I
get
didn't even think of
money.
that,
Yeah, we
bro.
talked
No,
about that in our
no, no.
Discord. Yeah. So now it's making more
Yeah,
sense.
you're right
Like, we're
about
kind of
that.
answering our
It's
own
the OTAs,
question.
dude.
Like, he's playing this game. And I remember
Yeah.
watching The Last Dance when Scottie Pippen and players, they had no leverage. There was no such thing as a holdout where like you signed a contract, you just had to like pout in the locker room and then go play. But now players have a lot of leverage and they do things. And I know sometimes we find it annoying, selfish to us, silly fantasy players and fans, like, whatever. I'm human too. Like, we find it a little bit annoying that they play these games, but I get it. They're a player. They're trying to maximize their value. They're playing a dangerous game. They want money. They want a ring. They're being very selfish, and they should, because they deserve that. Like, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Get what's yours, man. And so he's just playing this game right now, a game that didn't exist 30 years ago, 25 years ago. You would just like, you go. You signed a contract,
Suck it up.
and that's it.
Yep.
There's no other options. Now people are holding out, holding in, creating buzz. They have social media didn't even exist. You couldn't even tweet that. Like, I know my worth. I know Isaiah Winstead, the super sleeper on the Niners, got signed because of a tweet.
That's
He's like,
what we're
hey,
living in now. That's what it is.
1,100 yards, and look at me. Like, look how big I am. Look how fast I am. Look at my highlight reel, and I didn't get signed. And then he gets signed just off the tweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Amazing, man. Amazing what world we live in, but that's what it is now.
We kind of answered our question. This one I thought was kind of boring to bring this up in the podcast, but nonetheless, this is the one we've talked about the most on the Discord. So I was saying, like, if we're discussing this amongst our friend groups and community, it must be a good topic. Tim Patrick is apparently the best receiver on the team. He's the best player. I mean, he's basically a Hall of Famer. That's what the news is and hype is saying. Are you buying this?
No, because Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. What? How is that? Look, do they even put pads on? Have they even put pads on yet, Cal?
Yeah, they put pads. I don't know if Tim Patrick has put pads on though.
Probably not, because it's freaking July. Probably not. It's probably just unpadded, shorts, 7-on-7s. These guys are just balling, looking great. Yeah, Tim Patrick. I'm pretty sure he's like a slot shorter receiver, so he should be more agile and more shifty. Like, you should look at him and he should pop out as one of the more athletic guys on the field when you're not wearing pads or lining up against a real defense. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I thought he was tall. He's tall. No, he's tall. Yeah.
6'4", okay, so he's still a slot.
He's like Cortland Sutton. He's like a Sutton.
Yeah, at least Sutton's got some pounds. He's not 208. Sutton's he at least looks bigger than 208 Sutton. I promise you that. So either way, Patrick.
I think Tim Patrick is skinny, yeah, but he's tall. He's a red zone guy.
You see the high athleticism traits though with Tim Patrick and Sutton there too. There you go. So, I'm actually shocked he's larger than Cortland Sutton. That's news.
No, he's tall. Yeah, he's a tall guy. He can catch. He can catch in end zone. I'm trying to see if we got any pictures of.
All I'm gonna say is this: look, I know people. Our evaluation of Jerry Jeudy was, he could be one of the best route runners of all time. It hasn't hit. He's still a much better route runner. Like, come on, let's not do Jeudy that dirty here. Tim Patrick, look, if we're going with Sutton or even Delchich over like Jeudy, okay, I could buy in. Like, Sutton potentially could be the one. Delchich had a good season last year. But we're talking Tim Patrick. Like, what example in Seattle? Because it is Russell Wilson. Like, is there any example in Seattle that would like kind of lead us to believe Tim Patrick could be a thing? I'm trying to think. Like, Jermaine Kearse they had, Golden Tate they had. None of those guys are exactly Tim Patrick type. I don't know if there's any receiver that you can think of, and if that's an example that could prove that Tim Patrick would thrive. But I see this as a 2 receiver, 1 tight end type of offense. Tim Patrick could be like this nice complementary piece for a good football team, not for my fantasy team.
I'm not as passionate about this as you, but it's just there's too
Because
many
people are
mouths to
dogs
feed.
on duty, man. That's
There's
why.
too many mouths to feed. That's all I'm going off of. I think Tim Patrick's fine. I think he's okay. Um I just think there's a lot, and I'm not a big proponent on target share, but it is something you should definitely factor in. And he's just not going to have enough target share. We have Cortland Sutton. Now, if he were to get traded, then I'd probably hop on this train, because it's not
Sure.
just that clears up that spot, that because it's similar type of receiver. It's that, oh, the Broncos are communicating something. They must have traded this guy for a reason. As of right now, I don't see them trading Sutton. Even though there was stupid rumors. I posted this in the offseason, like, oh, Sutton and Judy are gonna be traded. I'm like, who's writing this crap, dude? Like, why would you do if you go get a quarterback? Look at what the Ravens did. They got Lamar Jackson, and they had to go get receipt. Like, they just had to do. They got a new trainer, new OC, and new like big time receivers. Like, they
Look at what
went
the
all
Eagles
in.
did. Eagles
Yeah,
did the same thing. They go
they
get
went
AJ
all out.
Brown.
AJ Brown,
Yeah,
which is basically like two wide receivers in one. He's a big time
right.
receiver. And you get Russell Wilson. You're not just going to be like, all right, Russell, like, just your running back, your wide receiver, just play all the positions. No, they got to support their guy. They got Tim Patrick, they got Jerry Jeudy, they got Cortland Sutton, they got KJ Hamler. All right, that's a zero. Pretend I didn't say that. They got Marvin Mims, they got Greg Dulcich, they got RBs that can catch. So it's like,
I
why?
forgot about
What am I
Marvin Mims
doing in
too. Wow.
fantasy? Now I'm doing best ball tournaments. Okay, I'm drafting some best ball tournaments, trying to win like $350,000. Good luck. I'm taking Tim Patrick in round 18, 19. That's fine, right? One injury happens to Sutton or something, I think this guy can boom. But other than that, like, I don't see. He's just like a late round flyer. Like, I'm not really buying the hype. We have people in here. Like, I'm not reading all this. I don't know. It's animal, whatever. I'm just assuming this guy, we know him from the Discord. He loves Tim Patrick. He thinks he's like the number one receiver on the Broncos. No, that ain't happening.
Can't do it.
And then
Sorry.
this last one, though, this is weird. I haven't heard anything about this. Maybe that's my fault. But star lineman David Bakhtiari on the Packers could be traded. What did Aaron Rodgers say? He's chilling and getting fat.
Being lazy, getting fat, something like that.
Wow, what is going on? Like, this is so weird. And if they trade him, could this kind of signal that they're rebuilding / retooling? They're looking to move forward, different position. Left tackle David Bakhtiari, I think he's 31 years old. So they might start kind of clearing house, going younger. I think that's the right choice. Like, I don't. If you couldn't win a Super Bowl with Rodgers the last few years, even if Jordan Love is really good, I just don't see you winning one with Jordan Love. I think this is the move. Go younger, retool, rebuild.
Yeah, I agree. You kind of have to rip off the Band-Aid at some point, and this was the last one of the last ones at least to rip off. It does signal one huge thing, that they are not in it for 2023. So there's a lot of people that are betting on the Packers to win the NFC North. I am a Bears fan, so I'm not trying to. This is a completely unbiased thing here. If they're moving off David Bakhtiari, you're not going to get someone better to fill in right now than him. Maybe in a couple of years, sure, but in 2023, you're not. So this is clearly one of those seasons where it's like, okay, this is going to be all about Jordan Love. It's not going to be about the wins and losses and the success that we have this year as a football team. It's going to be more about making Jordan Love successful, seeing some tangible progress with him, and building off of that in 2024 and 2025 and so on. This team is clearly not looking to be competitive or make a Super Bowl run in 2023. This sign signals all you need to know about that. And I do agree with it. I do agree that you have to rip off the Band-Aid, get younger. To your point, you have this core with Aaron Rodgers. You didn't win it with Aaron Rodgers. You're definitely not going to win with Jordan Love unless he's somehow better. He could be, but that's a little bit of a stretch.
It's a little more complicated than that, though. But I agree.
Yeah.
Packers right now, I would say they're the third best team in that division. I think
I would
most
agree with
people would
that.
agree. Yeah, they're the third best team. I think the Lions and Vikings are kind of close to be the best teams. Bakhtiari been injured a lot, and it just might be a smart move, period. But yeah, I do agree this year is about developing Jordan Love. They're not like quite giving up or anything, but they're being smart about it. We're gonna do some fun stuff. So guys in the chat, stay alive, stay with us, don't go anywhere. Rolando asks NFL fantasy app over ESPN. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Don't play on the NFL crap. All right, this is. I told this story. It's not even really a story. This is gonna be like the fourth time I'm telling this story. I know a lot of you guys haven't heard it. I'm in a league with all the top guys on the NFL Network. All right, yes, Adam Rank, yeah, all those guys, yeah. Guess where we draft? Well, we tried to draft on NFL Draft, and I almost cried because this was a big deal for me, man. I hosted the draft, and I was so happy. I mean, I went hard with it. All the Danny Woodhead was in the league, Darren Waller, T-Pain was in the league that year. I mean, we're talking about a killer. Lee Adam Rank, Marcus Grant went to a rival high school of mine, Michael F. Flory. Right. We drafted on NFL. NFL.com. It was horrible. It was it didn't work. It did not work. It was that bad. You couldn't draft on there. So that's crap. ESPN is whatever. It's old. All right. It's owned by Disney. That's not even top 1,000 on their priority, right? What do you think they're going to do? You think they're worried about? You think they're worried about Mickey Mouse's trademark or fantasy football, which is like making them negative, $50,000. So it's like they don't care, bro. ESPN is old news, right? Are you a boomer? Like I started on we're about to talk about my first fantasy league. We started on ESPN. I loved it. I was one of those boomers that was like, I started on ESPN. I love it. I'll always love it. I switched to Sleeper. Louise knows what's up. Stop it.
Sleeper. You play Sleeper, baby.
Especially if you play Dynasty and you like using your phone. That's it. Just go Sleeper. It's free. It's awesome. Look, some people hate me. I'm fortunate enough that Sleeper actually loves me. I'm a partner of Sleeper, and I didn't get through by sucking up or having huge numbers. I just was playing on Sleeper, filming Sleeper, live streaming on Sleeper, and constantly talking to them, helping them out, tweeting them in their DMs, talking to support, helping them, and just organically promoting Sleeper. Not just that how I explain it, but I was just like, hey, like check out Sleeper. It's great. They're doing great things. And that's how come I became a part. They're like, dude, you play on Sleeper and you say good things about us. Why not just, be a video partner? It's not a big commitment anyway. It's a win-win. So I'm partner for Sleeper. It's great. And that's what I've been saying that before. They're not paying me money or anything. They just promote me and I promote them. That's really it. They put my videos on their platform. It's great. That's all I got to say. I've been saying this before I was partnered with them. Like, it's just the platform to do. The only knock on Sleeper is pretty much like they don't update the desktop much. They told me that. They're like, look, 92% of our users are the mobile app. So any new feature, they listen to us, by the way. If you just write, it's like support@sleeper.com, they'll listen. They implement stuff within 2 to 4 weeks sometimes. If it's good, they listen, they fix glitches, but more than likely it's going to be fixed on mobile and maybe not desktop. Desktop is fine though. It's great. It's just not as great as the mobile app, which is like still my number one platform. It's got to be Sleeper though, man. Get off that.
I'm going to be honest with you. I still use desktop for Sleeper, and it's way better than ESPN.
Oh yeah. It's not even close. I don't want to sound like a company guy, like a company shill, so I try to be critical. Bro, ESPN screwed me last year. They destroyed my IG Experts video because it's a bulky program, a bulky website. I do a lot of UI and marketing, and their UI is so bulky, and Sleepers is so lightweight. It's insane. You could probably run Sleeper on like a PC from 1990. You'll probably be fine. It's
Wow.
lightweight. Yeah, it's just a little bit of
Nice.
text and colors, right? ESPN's is like dun 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 dun. You can't take it. PC's done. You want
So
something worse? Go on the NFL app. Yeah, you want a little bit worse than that? That's what you want? Go to NFL.com, the home of the NFL. Or you really want to get screwed. Yeah. Anyway, that was a rant. Yeah, I do help a lot of fantasy sites. I'm not just a guy who makes YouTube videos. Like, I actually do web design. Like, I know this UI. I've been playing fantasy football like forever. Segue. All right, chat. Hopefully you're alive. Hopefully people are still tuning in.
I'm still very much alive here after these jokes.
So, when we first started, we played on ESPN. It was my first league. Drew probably been playing fantasy football for a couple years. This was my first year. I think it was 2006. Could have been 2005. I'm not sure. And I'm not 100% on this, guys. I'm pretty sure. So I think Drew drafted Sean Alexander first overall. He was a bust. And I think my first draft pick ever in fantasy football was Larry Johnson. Here, he's in a Washington uniform. Just don't worry about that. It was the Chiefs. He was on the Chiefs when he was just balling out. So I think my first ever draft pick was Larry Johnson. And Drew's was Sean Alexander and was a huge bust. So who in the chat, go ahead and write, who was your first draft pick? You can write the year or cannot. It'll be funner without the year, but you can write the year if you want. A lot of people might say LT. Well, if they had the first overall pick, maybe Aaron Rodgers, maybe Arian Foster, Lev Bell, Adrian Peterson, Antonio Brown. I don't know what answers we're gonna get. Do you remember your first ever fantasy football draft pick, Sushane?
I do, but I'm not sure if it's in the year 2007, 2008, or 2009. I know it's one of those 3 years. It was Adrian Peterson.
Did you have the first overall pick?
I think maybe like second or third early pick. Wasn't first overall.
2000.
So,
was that Lev? That sounds before Lev Bell.
It was when Marshawn Lynch was still on the Bills, because that was how I built my team. I had Peterson with Marshawn Lynch.
That's a good team.
My first 2 picks. Yeah. I don't think I won that year, but it was a good team. It was a good start.
Yeah. Brett Favre, 90. Oh, that's old.
Brett
Favre was young.
Dude, that's probably like the days where you're handwriting shit, right? Or handwriting stuff, you know? Oh my god.
Yes, that would be newspaper clippings.
My god.
Yeah, I think
Jack going old school. Nice.
Yeah, mine was definitely, I think it was Larry Johnson. I lost this year, but my team seemed really good. It was IDP. We didn't know what we were doing. I didn't even think we had an actual draft. I think it was off pre-rankings. But you live and you learn.
Pre-rankings.
Yeah, USA Today newspaper. All right, guys, let me know who was your first ever draft pick. We're going to be moving on, but go ahead and write it. I know there's a little bit of lag. But let me know who was your first ever draft. Brett Favre, that's a good one. 97. We're moving on. We're still in nostalgia land, but we're gonna be moving on to the present, and then we're gonna be moving on to the future, ladies and gentlemen.
The time turning today.
I came up with my Mount Rushmore of fantasy tight ends. Actually, I'm pretty confident with this list. I have 2 nominees that came really close, and they could have replaced Tony Gonzalez, but I think I'm pretty solid on my top 4 list. So these are my top 4 GOAT fantasy football tight ends. All right. So number 4, I got Tony Gonzalez. It was easy to make him top 3 or top 4 because he didn't always finish number one or anything like that. He wasn't like an automatic smash and like he's gonna crush it. But the man, like I'm looking at his numbers for like 20 years, he consistently crushed it. Even his last year, he won people fantasy football leagues when he was an old man on the Falcons. Like it's crazy the consistency. On top of that, he's a great host right now. Like he's a good personality. He was also a great in real life tight end, right? Jimmy Graham, you
Mm-hmm.
probably can't say that, not as much, not as
Sure.
complete. He was obviously a great receiver, but not one of the best complete tight ends. We know Tony G was one of the best complete tight ends. At number 3, I got Jimmy Graham. He was basically a big receiver, and when he was on the Saints, it was just amazing. And yes, number 1 tight end finishes. He did that. Like he was absolutely crushing it. It was him versus Gronk a lot of times as far as, the fantasy tight end. And then at number 2, I got Rob Gronkowski. Minus the injuries, this guy was a force. Great blocker, kind of unreal. Like you seen him play and it didn't make any sense. Like he just looked like a superhero. He was so big, so nobody wanted to defend him. Like sometimes people looked like they were trying to injure him. They'd bounce off of him. Like it was just. I think that's really the only way to stop Gronk. And I know this is kind of a nasty conspiracy theory, but I think they just tried to injure him. Because if you're a defender, I don't know what else. I mean, what do you
gotta
do?
hurt him. Yeah, no, that's a strategy in this game. Just beat him up. Yeah.
Double team, like. Okay,
even just beat him up. Even just the simple instruction of, hey, just beat the guy up. That means
if you're doing that, and if you're doing that lower to his lower body, that's I mean, what is that really doing, bro? These guys aren't dumb. They're not like, ooh. Yeah. That's kind of trying to injure somebody. So I mean, at there's really no other way to stop the man. Like he's unstoppable. He's just incredible and a huge character too. Seems like a dumb frat boy who parties all day, but in reality, yeah, he parties hard, but he works harder. He had insane work ethic. He absolutely crushed it. He worked so hard and he was so good. Just the injuries was a big knock with him. And then at number 1, there's like no tight end that comes close. And he means a lot to me because he finally won me the couch league. It was between him and Andrew Luck. I think at the end of round 6, I wanted Luck and I wanted Kelsey. And I was like, Andrew Luck this year is such a good steal. He's always underrated. I can always get him round 7 and he'll always be a good QB. He'll finish top 10, top 7. It's Andrew Luck. But for some reason, he's never going like with the top echelon quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. But I was like, look, man, it's a 1 QB league. You can always find a QB, but you can't find a tight end. Like this guy, Kelsey's got some steam. I drafted Kelsey. He had a breakout year. I needed like 27 fantasy points to win the championship.
Oh my God.
Dude got me like 29 or something.
Let's go.
Week 16.
Let's go. It's crazy. Like, let's go, dude.
Yeah, I was going against Lev Bell, and it's not, dude. Lev Bell, he wasn't even having like a good looking game, but the guy he catches a pass, he gets a run, he catches a pass, he scores a touchdown. I'm like, oh my God, like he doesn't even look, but it's Lev Bell, like. So Lev Bell put up like 23 fantasy points, but bro, Kelsey killed it with Alex Smith. Absolutely love it. So those are my Mount Rushmore fantasy tight ends. The 2 nominees I had at number 5, Shannon Sharp, who was great. Discovered a little conspiracy with him, Sue Shane, when we were texting back and forth, that they started a rumor that the man can't block. And I said that live on the podcast. I was like, Shannon Sharp can't block. You're like, he could. And we looked into it, and apparently that was kind of like a smear campaign.
A little bit.
They were trying to say the man couldn't block and he was only a receiver, but apparently he could block. So great tight end, of obviously great personality. Yep, crushed it on FS1 and put up incredible numbers. I didn't include him in this list mainly because fantasy wasn't prominent back then, except for that. So this is prime Shannon Sharp right here. Dominated in the 90s. Not a lot of people were playing fantasy in the 90s. Like Google didn't exist back then, for example. Like it's nobody had a Gmail account, no smartphones, It was a lot. Mark Andrews would be kind of number 6 for me. Just doesn't really have that punch or anything, but he had 2 really good years, won a lot of leagues. He's just great. Tyler Huntley used them, Lamar used them. Like when he dominated in fantasy those 2 years, he really dominated, and he finished tight end 1, beating out Kelsey, which is just that feat.
Impressive.
Just when you say that, that's a big feat. So
yeah,
he would be my number 6, and Shannon Sharp would be my number 5. Did I leave anybody? We have Kittle as a name.
Yeah, I was going to mention one more. How about Antonio Gates? Yeah, or nay for Antonio Gates?
That's the thing with him. To me, he's like similar to Tony Gonzalez, but worse.
Okay.
So I don't know where's the punch. You know what I mean? Like he was great for sure, but like where's the punch? He didn't end as gracefully for him. He lost some people leagues.
Sure.
Like it just top 10, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We're talking top 4, yeah. And Kittle, I think Kittle's above him. Kittle injuries, inconsistency. He kind of needs a semi-decent quarterback. His quarterback gets injured. His quarterback sucks. Like there's a lot of question marks there, but Kittle could easily be number 7, I think, of all time.
He could be number 6, possibly. We don't know how Andrews' career finishes off. We know George Kittle has done it.
Well, I'm doing this right now, though. I'm doing this today. Yeah, this isn't really like a prediction thing because most of these guys are kind of done. Or, I mean, even Kelsey retired today, it'd still be good. But those other 3 guys are done. They're retired. Is Jimmy Graham retired for sure?
I would assume so, man. If he's not retired, he's done.
We'll retire him on the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll retire him on the show. Yep.
Yeah, no, Kittle. I mean, definitely. Maybe Mark Andrews takes a step back. Not necessarily skill-wise, but number-wise with Odell and Likely and a new OC. Could be. And then Kittle with Purdy maybe takes a step forward and stays healthy. Then boom, yeah, I think there you go. Because Kittle is such a good in real life tight end. But yeah, no, I mean Antonio Gates, obviously the name came. I considered him in this list. Jason Witten, another good one. The problem I have with Witten is that no punch. So like a more boring Antonio Gates. In real life tight end though, I don't know. Susha, you know more about tight ends. I know he's great in real life.
Very good. Top 5 for me all time. Real life.
Yeah. So in real life, amazing. A guy that can block the defensive end, can do everything. He has his little routes that he always wins. You need a third down, he'll win it. A long, great career. Not a great personality. Not necessarily a big factor, but you notice all these guys are like killing it. Shannon Sharp, Kelsey, Gronk, like all these guys, Tony G, like all of them are killing it personality wise. Jason Witten, he's not killing it so bad that he had to go back and play on the Raiders. Like he's like, I need this bad taste out of it. He didn't want to go down like that. He's like, just put me back in a uniform so that like I can like leave. People would leave with this memory in their head.
Yeah, I like this list. I think it's a very fair list. I think it's a good list.
Yeah, obviously no, this is opinion, it's good. I love this. I mean, a lot of it is fantasy points. So it's not even obviously it is opinion, but yeah, it's based off like did these guys crush it for you in fantasy and put up fantasy points? And definitely these 4 need to be in consideration of people's, Mount Rushmore. Some good names though. I mean, I like all the suggestions here were good. Witten was a good suggestion. Kittle was a good suggestion, and Antonio Gates was a good suggestion. I mentioned Shannon Sharp and Andrews as nominees. So I think with that list, I think
it's all encompassing.
Yeah, and then if you have to go back in the 80s and 70s when like fantasy football wasn't relevant and tight ends didn't put up that much receiving numbers, so it's a little bit weird back then.
Kellen Winslow, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, but that kind of goes back to older era a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he would, I think, top 10. I mean, he might be top 10. Yeah. He was
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
What can you say?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. All right. You take over. What are we looking at here?
Okay, so a couple things before we get into this that I want to get off the chest couch. First and foremost, I want to take a step back for the first time ever say thank you for having me on your show, because without this platform, all of these ideas that I have in my head, it would stay in my head. I wouldn't be able to share it with anyone, but you've given me a platform, you've given me an audience. Thank you guys, obviously, who are watching, but I also thank you, Couch, for giving me this this kind of stage to talk about rookie picks. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about the next three classes. This is how I do Dynasty. I enter a new league with a 3-year rebuild plan. I tank for year 1, I tank for year 2, and I try to pop off year 3. That's what I try to do. Now, let me try to get one thing. Go ahead.
The draft class matters, right? When you do that.
Yes, it matters. I haven't done a startup in 2 seasons because I'm waiting for this 2026 class. And it's finally available, so now I'm going to hop in. All right. I want to say one more thing. And this is, I spend a lot of time consuming football content in general. This is both for my job as a tight ends coach, but also my job as a rookie expert, so to speak, right? I tell people all the time, look, you don't have to watch college football to do dynasty football, right? But you got to pay attention. Like, you can't be one of those guys who are just saying, like, oh, who is Bijan Robinson? Bijan who? Who is? You got to know Bijan Robinson's the guy. He's going to be worth a lot. You got to at least know this. Even if you've never seen him play at Texas, you got to at least be aware. Okay? And what I've realized is all of the content that I've been watching for rookies, they're talking about 2024 now. It's all the same stuff, man. It's all the same stuff repeatedly over and over. Tier lists. How many freaking tier lists have I seen in the last week, dude? Like 20? It's all going to say Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison, Drake May. It's all going to say that. That's great. But there's more to it than that. These guys who are doing this, I'm not trying to be critical at all. They're doing it perfectly fine. It's a very solid way to present the new class, but they don't understand that it's gonna completely shift in 365 days. Someone's gonna fall off. Someone's gonna emerge. I have no idea what the name of that person will be, but we'll know when we know. So what I want to do here is I want to present this to you in a completely different way that you're not going to see anywhere else, because most people, you're going to see very basic level stuff, tier lists, rookie rankings, mock drafts, and whatever. We're going to do something totally different. We're simply going to tell you, here's 2024. Without giving you any specific names, this is what the class has. If you're weak at tight end or quarterback or receiver, that's the class you want to invest in, and so on. That's what we're going to do for you. Number 2, Couch, and this is going to be a more of a thematic conversation as we go through these 3 classes. I am very closed-minded when it comes to the running back position. I'm trying to get more open-minded. You're helping me out, Roshan and Kendra Miller and all these guys. But I am incredibly closed-minded in the fact that I truly believe if you're not a 3-down workhorse back, you have no place on my fantasy football team. So people who look at all of the teams that I have, you're going to notice that all the running backs I got are guys like Eckler and Chubb and JT and McCaffrey. I don't have guys like Montgomery. I don't do that. I only build with 4 just absolute battering ram hammers of running backs, and I try to win it that way, for better or for worse, right? So because of that, I got a little problem with the future of the running back position as a whole. That's probably going to be a thematic conversation. But I want to remind everyone one thing. For as much of a judgmental, closed-minded individual at the RB position that I am, I still like a lot of these players, including Mr. Devon Achane. I am no longer just a fan of Devon Achane. I am now like his guy. I got this hat from Miami. I will be repping Devon A. Chain on my head, without a doubt. All right.
You turn it normal. Turn it normal.
Turn it normal.
Mister. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
All right. There we go.
Yeah.
So that being said, Couch, let's get right into this. Let's stay at this graph for a little bit, and let's slowly dissect this up, okay? So I've got 3 bar charts for you, and within these bar charts, you're going to see 2 things. You're going to see, red quarterback, green running back, blue receiver, yellow tight end, and it's measured, right? It's, for that first bar, quarterback looks the thickest, tight end looks the thinnest, and so on. You're also going to see 3 bars with 3 different heights. Okay, as you can see, 2024, slightly shorter than 2026. 2025 is much smaller. Height, looking at the height. Okay.
2025 is like a stump.
It's like a stump, exactly, right. So what that tells you, because we're only measuring cornerstones right now. We're not measuring depth. We're not measuring guys who could be cool. Like we're not measuring the Kendre Millers and the Roshans. We're only discussing Bijan Gibbs. We're only looking at these types of players in the next 3 years. So with that being said, I want to focus in. We play Superflex. Let's start off with quarterbacks, right? Next year's quarterback class looks good to me. Looks very, very good. It's looked good to me for like 3-4 years. Not gonna lie to you. Caleb Williams is definitely the headliner name. We're gonna talk some names, not a whole lot today though. People are going to
do that later. We'll do that on another podcast. Yeah,
okay, sure.
This is gonna help people. Should I tank? Should I trade for this year's draft class? What should I look for in this year's draft class?
Okay.
What position should I look for when retooling, rebuilding? That's what this is for. We'll get into the names for sure.
Okay.
In another episode.
I mean,
you do your thing. I'm just saying we'll talk more names later. Yeah.
I got you. Okay. I'll say this then. If you're looking at the NFL draft next year, there will be 3 quarterbacks picked in the top 5. There will be 3 quarterbacks.
I just want to make sure you can talk about names. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just telling the viewers we will talk more names. Okay.
The 2 names that people know, Caleb Williams, people are going to compare him to Patrick Mahomes, and Drake May, who is going to get a Trevor Lawrence type comparison, Justin Herbert maybe. Okay. Those are the 2 guys everyone knows about. I'm telling you right now, I've done this long enough to see Anthony Richardson come out of nowhere, to see Zach Wilson come out of nowhere, to see Joe Burrow come out of nowhere. It's happened 3 years in a row, even 4. I could go back 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years if I wanted.
CJ Stroud?
Every year. CJ Stroud was always there. Anthony Richardson was the guy who...
He came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Burrow
so it's going to happen. It's going to happen again. I don't know what name. It could be Quinn Ewers. It could be whoever. I don't know what name, Couch, but you can bank on the fact that there's going to be 3 quarterbacks picked in the top 5 of the NFL draft. 2 of them, people are saying, are better than these 2, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. This is a good quarterback class. You need a quarterback? Please, 2024, take the shot and invest in a quarterback. It's risky, but this is the way you can minimize your risk by picking the best elite of the elite quarterback prospect. If we look at the quarterback in 2026, I'm going to skip through 25 for just a moment here, Couch. It looks slightly better. I'm telling you, in 2024, I see 2 elite guys and 1 guy who's going to emerge. We have 3 elite guys in 2026, and then someone might emerge. This could be a 4 in the top 5 quarterback type of class in 2026. I might be willing. I'm not willing to go there yet, but I might be in maybe about a year's time willing to say that this quarterback class could be one of the best ever. I might go there. I'm not there yet, but don't be surprised if it happens in the next year or 2. So for quarterbacks, 24, 2026, look at 2025, Couch. There's that 1 small strip of red. And I'm putting that there because I'm going to assume that a quarterback's going to emerge. Because as of right now, I don't even have a name to give you. I couldn't even tell you Caleb Williams. I don't know who the top 2025 quarterback is. There's a laundry list of names that I could choose from. It's one of these guys, maybe. But I'm not confident enough in any of them to share their names with you today. Not a single one.
Geno Smith and EJ Manuel.
Geno Smith, EJ Manuel. Yeah.
Do you remember that draft?
Yeah. It's about that. Yep. That's what we're looking at here, I think. Honestly. Maybe we'll have like one guy out of nowhere who just emerges from the shadows. I'm desperately hoping for that, Couch, because otherwise, this 2025 class kind of looks like crap.
What about Ewers? Ewers.
He's supposed to be next year, 2024. In my opinion, he's going to be the third quarterback there. He might not be. It could be someone else. There's a Washington guy who's pretty good. He's got some traits with another athletic guy in Arkansas. So there's some guys who could surpass Quinn Ewers. But I don't think Quinn Ewers is going to be so bad to the point where he moves to 2025. And if he does, then we're talking more Quinn Ewers in the same light as Spencer Rattler and not Trevor Lawrence. Right? So either way, whatever happens with Ewers in 24 or 25, if he's in 2025, it wouldn't make the class that much better for me, honestly.
And the NIL, I know, like, for a lot of women, they're just killing it in NIL. They're like, why would I go to the WNBA? And, like, you know, NIL is changing the game pretty big. That doesn't affect a guy like yours. Is that what you're saying? Like, he's like, if he's ready and he's going to be a top 5 pick, he's declaring.
Couch, he looked bad last year. He looked bad. He didn't look disappointing. He looked straight terrible. He's got to fix something. If he doesn't fix it, he becomes Rattler, dude. We've seen this example just last year, 2 years ago, or whatever it was. It's the same storybook all over again. He's got to show legitimate progress. And this is, again, me, one of those guys who pays attention to college and all that stuff. He's got to show me something this year, man. Otherwise, it's not looking good. Can we answer this question?
Sure. Louis says, I got the 1.02 in Dynasty 2024. Do I take Marvin Harrison? Is that a smash or what?
It's not a smash for me. It's a consideration. It's not a smash. You want to pull it to the next slide real quick? Since we can start talking about the mock draft a little bit.
Oh, this one.
I'll pull it down. Yeah. So this is what I have it. Okay. Again, I'm convinced that we're going to see that third quarterback emerge from the shadows. And it's going to be a sea of red and then that one blue rectangle, right? Again, I don't want to talk too specifically into names, but that blue rectangle does represent Marvin Harrison Jr. Couch, he is going to be valued as the wide receiver 3 overall as a rookie. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be Justin Jefferson, number 1, Jamar Chase, number 2, and it is no longer going to be Garrett Wilson or CeeDee Lamb or A.J. Brown or whoever at 3. It will be Marvin Harrison Jr. From a value perspective, I want that. Who doesn't? From a risk perspective, you know what I mean? It's just, if it doesn't pan out and I'm doing what Luis has done and taking him at the 1.2, in my opinion, I truly feel that I have missed out on a franchise quarterback in Drake May. I truly feel that I would have missed out. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, you know, I'm picking Marvin Harrison over Stroud. Stroud is my quarterback too, but he's got some limitations and reservations about his game that could, you know, for fantasy football, maybe not so good. No, those questions do not exist with these top 2 guys. These top 2 guys are guys that you want even in a startup. They're probably going later after guys like Burrow and Hurts and Lamar and so on and so forth in a startup. I want these 2 guys in a startup because they're never going to cost me cheaper in my life ever again. So if you're going to pass on that, I'm cool with it because I know the value that Marvin Harrison is going to garner. But I would probably, I don't know. I'm 50-50, as you can see. I'm not.
I can answer this one. Yes, Caleb Williams is a smash at 1.01. Super flex. It's you know, that's easy. I got you. Let's move on.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the running backs now, real quick. Couch, you're what, 35 years old?
I'm 38.
38. Okay,
I'm
so when you
turning
were
39.
39,
Turning
old man
39.
now. Okay.
I don't remember my age sometimes. I don't care about myself. Yeah.
The point I wanted to bring up to you was that the last time, I'm going to talk about 2026 first, only for a second. The last time you've seen a running back class this dog water was when you were 6 or 7 years old. So if you think that the running back position right now is in decay, with all these guys like Eckler and Chubb on their last legs, Kamara and Dalvin, Fournette in these weird situations, and then you see these incoming crop of rookies where Bijan and Gibbs are cool, but then after that, it's like, what do we have here? If you think the running back position is already on a downfall, we have not hit rock bottom yet. We will hit rock bottom in 2026. It's the worst running back class. I'm not 30 years old yet. It's the worst running back class of my lifetime. I have to be negative something years old to go back to see a worse running back class.
Bro,
So
I
we have
am
not
so
hit rock
happy that I went in on the 2023 draft class. It's obviously it could be a bust, like it could be bad, but as of right now, I'm so happy that I targeted this 2023 draft class. Like I have no regrets. I'm looking, oh, you love 2026, 2024. Like it looks great. Like I don't hate it, but like I couldn't be happier that this is the year that I chose to attack. And I have a pretty disgusting meme. I don't think I showed the public, but this is how sexy this draft class is right here.
Heyo.
I was ready for this draft class. Woo! Oh yeah, this video is getting demonetized for sure.
That's what I'm saying, right?
I was ready for this draft class. I was in this pose for about 2 years, just sitting here ready. And 2023 in the Empire League, my team's looking half decent. I got Bryce Young, I got Roshan, I got Michael Mayer, like A-Chain.
Like, the power that a good draft class can do for you.
Great. Yeah, Michael Wilson. Like, I'm looking, and of course, I got Bijan.
Oh yeah, Robinson. Yeah. Oh my god.
I got Bijan in both the dynasty, in the Couch Dynasty and Couch Empire. I got Bijan Robinson, and the other one, I have a win now team. You could say I'm the second best team in that league. Team's absolutely great, and I went all in, traded a lot to go get Bijan Robinson. So I couldn't be happier, man. Like I know, like it didn't start yet, but I'm liking that I did. Like I feel great about going on the 2023 draft class.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can bring up the trade. We'll do that later. Let's finish this.
Yeah. Okay. If you pull it down a little bit, yeah. So let's talk running backs here. For as bad as I do not like 2025, if you go to the very first graphic, back to the 3 bar charts, you're going to notice that the running back position in 24 and 25, that green area that you see in both bars, they're about the same size. You know what that means? That means that the running back classes are equally top heavy. Remember, we're only dealing with cornerstones, Couch. Running back classes are equally top heavy. I see 3 names that I like in each year. Historically, that number 3 stays consistent. If it's 2 guys a year in advance, it stays at 2. If it's 4 guys a year in advance, it stays at 4. The names might be different. Chuba Hubbard might get replaced with Javonte Williams, but we still have 3 guys: Najee, Travis Etienne, and Javonte Williams. It was consistent with Devy players calculating 3 running backs will be available. So that number is always going to stay the same. So when we look at 24 and 25, and this is a little bit where I get nervous about these running backs, Couch, because first of all, I'm assuming with this number theory that none of them bust, that we get 6 decent RB1 caliber type guys in the NFL. That's not going to happen. Not anymore. I cannot trust that anymore based on what the NFL has
It's
become.
almost impossible. When we calculated there's 8 workhorses at a given
Right.
time in the NFL. It's just not going to happen.
Right. So if the strongest part of the 2025 class is a running back position, then I can no longer really hold my head high on and guarantee. What is the 2025 class then as a whole, right? It's something that I probably want to get out of. Seriously, I'm a tanking guy. I tank a lot. If I know that my team is still going to be rubbish and I'm going to have an early 2025 pick, fine. I'll keep my pick and I'll try to use it, and I'm probably going to use it on a running back. But if my situation is anywhere different, I'm trying to move off the 2025 pick for a player, for a 2024 pick. I still have my 2023 draft. I'm trying to do that. Maybe even flip it for a 2026 first in a couple weeks, whatever I can do. And if I am tanking, you know what I'm buying, Couch? I'm buying 2024s. I'm buying 2026. I'm not getting 2025s from anyone, period. It's not worth my time. I'm just going to get some depth players there. That's cool. I don't want a depth guy with my round 1 rookie pick. I just don't. That's how I feel about 24, 25, 26. Last thing I want to say about 2025, how it's so weak. It just so happens the timing is also really poor. You have this 2025 class that's sandwiched in between a 2024 rookie class that has these insane high-powered names. We haven't even talked about the tight end yet. We'll get to him in a second. And then you have on the other side of the sandwich, you have this 2026 rookie class, Couch, that it features the 2 positions that dynasty managers crave the most, quarterback and receiver. There are no 2 positions that hold more value in dynasty than, as far as longevity goes and whatever, than those 2. And that's what 2026 is filled with at elite level talent as well. It's not just like depth quarterback and depth receivers. You're getting elite level guys. So to have this 2025 class sandwiched in between that, man, it really looks terrible. Really does. That's basically all I had to say about that. We can finally get into the tight end if you want to.
You can get a RB in 2027, right?
27? Maybe. I'd hope so.
Is it too tough to predict? Because if you're tanking, you go get your quarterbacks and wide receivers in 26. You're still not going to win because of rookie QB, rookie wide receivers. They've been great, but you can't really rely on it. And then if you can 2027, if you can get an RB, well, even if you can a rookie, you can at least trade for them. I think that's a great plan. And then you could actually win in 27.
That's a strategy. I'll have to get back to you on that with the 2027 class. I know some headliner names. They're mostly quarterbacks and receivers, though. That's my only thing.
And if you can't, though, you could trade for one.
Or
because you're talking about taking an RB in 2025, which is fine. If you have to, just kind of like you had to take an RB in 2023, even if you were tanking, and if you had to make a pick.
Remember, the top 3 guys here are Bijan Gibbs level guys. So you want this RB. This is going to be a highly coveted RB.
You would still go, even though you're missing out on a year of their life, you would still be like, okay, that's still worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you.
That's my thought process right now on it, at least.
Yeah. No, I mean, I brought you on the show to get your dynasty opinion. No, I get you. Yeah. And so, 2023, you had to do the same thing. Like if you weren't like Drew, who traded away the Bijan pick to me, and he'd have to take, Bijan, like there's like, what is he? It's a 1 QB league too. So it's not even in the super flex, it's not even close, but he'd have to take Bijan and try to build and try to win while Bijan's still on his rookie contract.
Yeah. It starts the clock for sure. All right. Final segment here. You remember this graphic? We talked about Michael Mayer being the most complete tight end of all time. I'll address that question in just a second. I believe Brock Bowers could be the most explosive tight end of all time. This graphic that I made this 2 years ago, actually 3 years ago, when Kyle Pitts was still in Florida. Kyle Pitts was still in college when I made this. And what my idea, Couch, was I wanted to present to you 4 tight ends that I thought were just incredibly unique, that because of how unique they are, it's very hard. It might be very hard for them to fail in the NFL just because they're just freaks in some regard. Obviously, Kyle Pitts, we know he's the physical, athletic specimen. Pterodactyl wingspan. That was the buzzword during his NFL combine.
Darren Waller, but you know what came on TV today? An old Lions Raiders game, and I'm like, it's kind of similar to Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson's kind of similar to Darren Waller. It's almost like Calvin Johnson's like a tight end who just ran too fast. So kind of Calvin Johnson, Darren Waller, Kyle Pitts. Right. I don't know. It's kind of loose, freaky. But like, I mean, at least within the same universe when you're talking about those guys, they're super fast and they're super big.
They're just freaks of nature, simply put, right? But Michael Mayer, he's not that at all, right? In fact, his major drawback or knock during the combine process was his lack of athleticism, actually. But why is he on here, Couch? Because he is unique in the fact that he is the most fundamentally sound player in all of football. Tackle, quarterback, linebacker, safety, it doesn't matter. In all of college football, since his freshman year, there is no one who knows more about the game of football and how he needs to play his position within the game than Michael Mayer. That's a special trait. You don't find that everywhere. Okay? Now we get to Brock Bowers.
And I don't like the athleticism thing because it is a knock. It is what people say, but that's only because what teams are looking for and what players are doing nowadays. Because there are players like Waller and Pitts, like when we're talking about like 25 years ago, like other than Shannon Sharp, there wasn't really anybody like that. Now it's like it's the norm to have Evan Ingram, Darren Waller, like all these crazy tight ends who are just insanely fast that look like a wide receiver, super athletic. So now Michael Mayer looks like a Jason Witten type. It's not even that bad. I mean, he's probably a little bit more athletic than Jason Witten. And I mean, that it's not horrible. Like it's people say it's a knock and that's a fact, but I don't say it's a knock. That's my.
That's why I think he's one of the few perfect prospects that we're ever going to see.
Wow.
Yeah. Honestly, I love the guy.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers, though, I'm going to say this, right? Most people, like fantasy analysts that you're gonna hear about, they're gonna tell you he's gonna be better than Michael Mayer. And I think this is because he's more exciting to watch than Michael Mayer. Okay, Michael Mayer for me is very exciting because I'm watching like the fundamentals of this stupid, boring, dull stuff, like the absolute just gray scale of gray in football. Brock Bowers is the playmaker. All right, if I were to describe Brock Bowers to you, I was trying. I spent about a half an hour, 45 minutes looking for a pro comparison, Couch, and then I created one in my brain, and I think it's way better than any guide will ever have it. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine a bowling ball. I want you to imagine a very dense bowling ball, one that can just absolutely steamroll through every single pin in the freaking aisle. Okay? Absolute dense cannonball of a bowling ball. And put the bowling ball now on a pogo stick. So now it has that insane vertical leap ability while still being an absolute freight train of a human being. That's Brock Bowers. That's scary, bro. You're basically saying like Javonte Williams, but he can just leap. And he plays tight end. Wow. I've never seen anything like it. That's why he's on this list, because he's one of those very unique, just one of a kind. I have nothing else to say, no other player to give you that similar. He is a one-of-one specimen, Brock Bowers. I don't think he's going to be as good as Michael Mayer, from the fundamental side of it. But I definitely see, like, just week to week, regular fan watching the game, their eyes are going to be on Brock Bowers for sure. Love him. The big thing here, Couch, is that we're already 3 out of 4 here. Pitts has been unveiled. Michael Mayer just revealed. Brock Bowers, we can now see his face. The next time we're going to get a tight end like this type, 2027. 2027. Fritz Terry on a pogo stick playing tight end. He's not quite that large.
No, he's talking more like a fullback. Not a refrigerator. Perry is tall.
Brock Bowers, he's about 15 pounds away from being a fullback. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but that's what usually when you say bowling ball, that's what you mean, like a stout guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a little stout. Yeah.
Luis with the $5 with fire emojis. Thank you so much, Luis.
There you go. Appreciate it. Yeah, so we talk about 24, 25, 26 classes. If you need tight end, man, and you want like one of those elite, game-changing types, man, this year might be your last shot for a while. So just keep that in mind. 2024, yeah.
Just to be specific.
Keep that in mind, man. Like, if you really need a tight end and for some reason you passed on Mayer, Kincaid, Laporta, Tucker Kraft, Musgrave, and all these guys in 2023, people were telling you this is a strong tight end class. If you didn't take your tight end for whatever reason, you got one more chance. And if you don't do it next season, it's over.
I don't draft too many rookie tight ends unless Sushane tells me to. That's my only rule. That's the rule. And it's been working out great, by the way. I mean, not even great, just amazing. And there's just literally everything I've done is 100% of the examples. Like Mike Gesicki, for example, you don't draft him, right? Oh, he's athletic freak. He's great. Boom. Then people are like, they're trying to drop him. They're giving him to you for free. You trade for him, you get him. Mike Gesicki, baller, right? Like, avoid these tight ends that are just meh. I mean, we don't know how Jelani Woods and what's his name, Trey McBride's gonna be, but like, I mean, so far people are regretting drafting them. Let's just put it like that. It's like, avoid these like, oh, tight end, and they hype them up during draft day and stuff, and trade for those post-hype tight ends that have hype when they're rookies. Trade for them later. You'll get them for free. Once Jelani Woods sucks this year, he'll be the same price as Mike Gesicki was like year 2 or 3. It'll be free. Just go get him if you want him later. Or, be picky and get these Sushang tight ends. That's what I've been doing. Chikakonkwo, Greg Dulcich, I drafted Kittle. That was a coincidence, to be honest. Nice. Kittle just kept falling, so I drafted him. That worked out. But yeah, man, rookie tight ends, not, it's tough. And that's why dynasty leagues put tight end premium on, because it's smart to avoid them, except when you have, tight ends. And then it's like, man, I might want to reach for one, because now tight ends, I can even put them in flex. Now, all of a sudden, they're super important. That's why I really do like tight end premium. Otherwise, I'm like, whatever, bro. If they're not one of these elite guys, I'm not even going to think. I'll just let these bums take them and waste of roster space.
Couldn't agree more. All of my leagues are premium.
It's awesome. It's just fun. When it's super flex tight end premium, which is a lot of the leagues, it's so fun because you can go, wide receiver, you can go QB, you can go tight end. But I guess RBs are a little bit devalued now, a lot more than they should be. I guess that's kind of the knock. But guess what? That's how it is in the NFL. That's why when you see Bijan go 8 overall, take note. Like, something happened. Something happened, and it was big. Like, take note, because NFL teams are not doing that often anymore.
No. That's basically all I had for you. I can answer this one. He is a wide receiver tight end. He played wide receiver for Stanford. We're talking about Elijah Higgins. The question is, what about the Dolphins tight end Higgins? He's getting some hype. He's small for a tight end. I don't like him for that reason. I also don't like the fact that he has to compete with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and he's that receiver-y tight end. He never played tight end in college. He played wide receiver. They're going to convert him at the NFL level. We talk about tight ends being a difficult position to master, Couch. It's one of the more, you have to exhibit the most patience with tight end prospects. The reason why is because of blocking. It's very difficult to know where to block on a given play because there's so much stuff that happens pre-snap, post-snap, and there's so much movement around. And if you're blocking the wrong guy, that's a problem. Because then you have two guys going on one guy, and then someone's free, and then the whole play gets messed up, and it's your fault. So that the whole blocking idea is the reason why these tight ends take a little bit longer than normal to develop, or not normal, than a little bit longer than other positions. And now we're talking about a guy, Elijah Higgins, he's coming in as a receiver. So the receiving capabilities are going to be there, but they want him to play tight end because they have Jalen Waddle and they have Tyreek Hill. Like, at best, this guy's going to be their fourth targeted player because I think they're going to target A-Chain even more than this guy. So I am not really excited. I'm not buying any of the hype at all. I would stay away, dude. If you have Elijah Higgins for some reason and someone's interested, I would move him. Even if you're getting like a third round pick or like a whatever, I would move him like a handcuff or something. I would
go get put together him and a fourth or him and a fifth, and then go get a third round pick.
Love the idea. Yep.
Move up.
I would do that. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the taxi squad guy. I mean, let's just.
If at all.
Yeah, you know what I mean? If I'm putting it like being positive about it. He's be on your taxi squad, whatever. Yeah. He's one of these tight ends that's just, taking up roster space.
I hope
he's fast, though.
He's a tight end.
He's fast, though.
He's a receiver.
He could be, what is he? Look at this comparison, Bryson Hopkins. I like that. They don't give him the Evan Ingram. They don't give him that. Evan Ingram is dope. Yeah.
Yeah. 6'3", 235 does not do it for me as a real tight end. I'm sorry. Too small.
That's all good.
A little bit.
Me and Drew made a trade I want to bring up. Are we done with this?
Yeah, we're all good.
We're done with all this?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to post this on social media, guys. So Sue Shane, basically a bar graph of the next three draft classes, 2024, 2025, 2026, breaking down how strong they are as the top tier players and breaking it down by position as well. I'll post this on social media at Fantasy Couch everywhere. I'll be posting this. Mount Rushmore, I'll tweet this out. Mock draft, I'll find a way to tweet this out as well. So kind of just showing. I love this bar graph though. I think this is sexy.
Yeah, I think that's the best one for sure.
This is great. It shows you what to look for and what direction to go specifically in Dynasty. So you guys can screenshot this too, but I will be posting. I'll post this on Discord as well. All right, we got back. Oh, this question. We wanted to answer this. The network says, so what happens when players start choosing not to play running back? Because now, if you got a guy who's kind of similar athletic, you'd be like, son, play wide receiver, right? That's the position to play, not running back.
That problem is something that I'm seeing at my job now.
So what's
guys
happen,
are not wanting to play running back anymore. It's here. Let me go on a quick aside. All right, this will be very brief. Okay. We know that tight ends, they're so few. Do you know why there's so few tight ends? Because what happens, Couch, is that when you're in high school, when you're playing organized football and you're growing up doing that for the first time, or maybe first time playing organized football or whatever, for some real stakes, the coach will ask you to play on both sides of the football. Okay? So, as a tight end, you play tight end on offense. Most tight ends play DE, defensive end, on defense. Okay?
Yeah.
If you have longer arms, as a tight end coach, I will tell you, what are you doing with me? Go play defensive end. There's more money there. There's a higher % chance you'll be successful, and your traits are more fitting for a defensive end. That's why there's so few tight ends, because all of them who play tight end in high school, they all see the money, they all see where this game is going, and say, I want to play D end, and they do that in college, and they're no longer tight ends, they're defensive ends. So because of that, I think we're now going to start to see that shift with running backs into receivers. But there's one major, I guess, fundamental thing about running backs that I still have hope for. And it's that they are shorter and stockier. So again, NFL level, yeah, we want the guys who are plus 200 pounds, 5'10", 5'9", 5'11", that type of height. But let's break this down to like who's playing now, because the question is like about the future, like what happens when these younger kids are going to stop playing running back. If you're 5'7" and you want to play football couch, you better be able to play running back because you got no other place. So because of the size constraint, I think this position will still live on. But yeah, it's a risk. The best players are no longer going to be the best talent is no longer going to be wanting to play the running back position, and for good reason, because the money's not there and they see what's going on in the NFL.
Anthony says, I hope this season there's no scary injuries. Don't ever write anything like that. That's terrible. That's putting bad. That's like, don't think of pink elephants. What do you think about? ACLs in preseason. Like, don't do that. Just no. Don't ever write this.
Jeremy Maclin.
Bro, it's football. So the beginning we're talking about was football. There's gonna be injury. Like, it's gonna happen. Let's not get it in our heads. So let's enjoy. At least can we enjoy July? This man's already talking about ACLs. Right? I hope there will be. Just don't do it right now to me. We'll complain about that week 3. Oh my God, I can't believe there's so many injuries this year. It's more than any other year. Let that time will come. Don't let it be now. Let's not ruin the mood.
Right now. It's always more than every other year, isn't it?
Fields QB1 this year. Could it be possible? He's getting MVP bets in Vegas. Man, if he takes the stride, yeah, because people like the odds, and I think they've seen Lamar Jackson take that jump. And does that align?
A little bit, okay.
Kind of. Yeah. Well, Lamar was year 2, he won MVP. Yeah, but a lot of the big jumps are year 3, like Josh Allen. So kind of aligns, like you got a guy kind of like Lamar. He never threw the ball. He was raw, great rusher, and then boom, and Josh Allen year 3 blew up. So people like the odds. Like, it's like, man, you spend $100, you win 3,000. And I think it's you spend $100, you only win 1,800, because I think people are really smashing that.
Oh wow,
Justin Fields bet. Yeah, and so I mean, I know I'm not a bettor. I'm not telling people to bet. I'm just saying, like, it's intriguing. I'm very intrigued by it, and it's going to be very hard. I don't think it'll happen, but there's a clear path, and we've seen it. Like he's a little bit Josh Allen, a little bit Lamar. We've seen it. It's possible. He has a real wide receiver. I don't have a lot of faith in the Bears, and I have to see them pass the ball. It's a little worrisome. Regardless of the MVP, he could just be absolute stud in fantasy, though. That's a little bit more likely to happen. Could finish top 4 quarterback. Something.
That'd be
absolutely
nice.
Be great.
Oh yeah.
Real talk with Day Trader, Oscars. Okay. Joey, this is a topic that comes up, and that's what we're talking about. Go check out the last 2 episodes. The last episode was about scamming and Dynasty. Absolute must watch. And then the one before was the tight end special, where the Dynasty Day Trader took us to school. It was great. And we're a Michael Mayer family over here. We like Michael Mayer. We get into a lot of debates. I think we both like Kincaid a lot, but I'm staying away from Kincaid because I think he's going to be inconsistent, and people are calling him Travis Kelce. I'm not. I'd rather be wrong on this one and not fall for that hype. But he's going to be incredible. He's very, very smooth, very fluid for a big guy. You don't really ever see that. So
he's the anti-Gronk there. He's the anti-Gronk in that regard.
Anti-Gronk. Okay.
Gronk is so stiff, stiff but super like imposing.
He's like Juggernaut in Marvel Comics. He's
Yeah.
He just
Yeah,
once he
it's a good one,
gains
actually.
steam, he keeps going straight. But this
Mhm.
guy's super fluid, like it's
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, but we're a Michael Mayer family. Actually, Sushane's basing his whole career on Michael Mayer. He's gonna have
pretty
to
much.
log off permanently. You can't go on Discord, you can't go on Twitter, you can't come on the podcast. You're gonna have to do like something. You're gonna change your identity to come back.
Yeah, I'll have to do something about this if it doesn't work. But
Come back, burner
Michael Mayer,
account,
baby. Hey,
Freddie.
Freddie.
It'll be suspicious when it's Freddie. Yeah, when the name is Freddie, it'll be so suspicious. But we'll be like, I mean, it's a popular name. He could be a Fred. Like, what are you gonna do?
Federico. I'll go Federico. I can pass with Federico.
Frederico, and he hates Michael Mayer. So like, this can't be Suche. Like, it can't be him.
Yeah, come on.
This is not Sushane's burner. Drew and I made a trade in the couch dynasty.
I want
He
to take a
wanted
look
me
at
to
this
bring that.
actually.
We brought
I
this
saw
up
this
on the
in
main
live.
channel though. This was how the video started off. But he wanted to bring it on because Drew's behind the scenes right now and Sushane's here. We've been talking about this for weeks. But yeah, guys, on the main channel, I posted the draft. It was awesome. Awesome draft. Like, I would definitely check that out. Crazy draft board. But essentially, I'm not going to read this whole thing. I guess I could read it really quick. Essentially, I had to pay up for Bijan Robinson. So Drew gave me, I'll sum it up. Drew gave me 3 players. They're not great, but he gave me Tyler Algier, Bijan's handcuff, and he gave me Bijan. So 3 players that are and Bijan. Me, I gave him 5 players that aren't really good, but includes Chikakonkwo. So a young, upside, kind of risky, but a young, good, talented tight end that he needed. So I gave him 5 players, and I gave him 3 first-round picks, 1 second-round pick, and 1 third-round pick. So pretty nasty. And
Okay.
I decided to hit him with those quality picks because I wanted to keep Christian Watson so bad. And that would
Okay.
have been the only other thing I could really offer him realistically. It had to be a young cornerstone player like Christian Watson. And so I didn't want to give him up. So I just hit him up with 1, 1, 1. 3 first-round picks. And he kept squeezing it. And because he had 2 other offers, and I just wanted to get it. Once, this is how I am in real life too. Once I'm set on something, I got to do it. And I just felt like, for me, I had to get Bijan this year. So I did whatever it took to go get him.
Okay. I'm going to look at this from 2 perspectives. I'm going to start with Drew, and then I'll go to yours. If you are in the position that Drew was in, and again, I have a lot of context with the league. I've seen both teams. I know where both of you guys were at before and after the trade. Even though I'm not in the league, I saw both of the teams. If you were in a position that Drew is in, where you have the pick for Bijan, but even if you draft him, you're not going anywhere. And seriously, this is one of those things, Couch, where every single person in the world looks at their team and says, hey, man, I like my team. My team looks good. You've got to be a little bit more objective. You got to be a little bit more, see this clearly here. If you can't win with Bijan, you know what you got to do? You got to do what Drew did. You have to do what Drew did.
Well, Drew's team was a 0. He replaced, like, it was that. Don't understand how it was so bad. The guy was he was a good guy, but he's just making questionable decisions in Dynasty so much that we're worried about the league. So his team, he took over a team that's a 0. Like, Drew got in this league because he likes the league. It's not because he liked the roster. He's like, I want to be in a couch family. Like, this is cool. This is the first couch dynasty league. He wanted to be in the league. It wasn't because of the roster. It's an absolute 0. It's a catastrophe, disastrophe. It's terrible. He's still trying to work his way out the hole, and he does not see the light at the end of the tunnel yet.
I want to tell you a couple things because Drew was asking me. He's like, hey, man, I got to sell this pick for Bijan. I got to sell this pick. What should I look for? And I gave him a very simple answer. And Couch, when you look at the trade you gave him, you'll see that he got what he was looking for. I said, look, man, you need 3 legit assets, period. I don't care if it's like a Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson, and like a Mayer, or, you know, 2 firsts and some decent running back, like maybe like a J.K. Dobbins. I don't care what it is. You got to get 1 into 3. He traded you Bijan. He got his 3 firsts. I know there's some other extra stuff that was moved, like Higbee this way, Okonkwo that way, Claypool and whoever. I get that. To me, everything else is noise, including the kickers. I was actually a little bit on him being like, hey, can you take out Justin Tucker and Bucker if he's not into it? Because Tucker could, you know, be a little better. Even for
we
him, it
both
wasn't
didn't care about the kicker.
Yeah.
Neither one of us cared about. I made that move because Tucker's, I think, 5 years older. So it's like, hey, take a younger. I mean, what are you doing with Justin Tucker? Like, you don't need him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, makes sense. But bottom line is, if you're Drew, you have to do this move and you have to get this much. You gotta be looking for 3. I'll put it in quotes, first round picks, right? It can be players, etc., mix and match. That's fine. So Drew, I'm not gonna say Drew did well, but what I am gonna say is he did the best he can and he made lemonade with whatever lemons he got. I would much rather put myself in a situation where when I make the pick for Bijan, I can hold Bijan and use him on my roster. But if I can't do it, that's probably the best offer that I'm going to get, and I'm probably going to have to take that type of offer. From your perspective, Cal,
the 3 offers he got was essentially from the 3 best teams. So
okay.
I didn't see them all, but essentially he's looking at late draft picks. It wasn't like one guy's giving him a great, like a high draft pick. The other guy offering him was the guy who beat me in the championship, and the third guy offering picks was, I don't think he was offering a lot of first rounders, but he's the guy who scored the most points in the league. So it's like, you're not gonna get like the 1.01 automatically from any of these guys. These are all the top teams. We all crush it. We have guys like Kelsey, Kittle, Mahomes, Chase, Jefferson. This is all the guys on these 3 teams. We're the 3 juggernauts of the league.
And that's actually the perfect segue into how I would evaluate this from your perspective, because you just said you're one of the top 3 teams in the league. It's clearly like, you know, us 3 and then the rest of the league. So we're going to end up having late first round picks. You also just got Bijan Robinson. So you're no longer super old and unelite. You're now young and elite. You got the best running back in the whole town. Seriously. All right. And what did you give up for him? You gave up 3 late first round picks. Now, I just went over Drew's perspective. He needs to get that type of offer. He got it. Good for him. But from your perspective, Couch, those 3 late first, they're late. We already told you 2024 for running back is at least all right. Okay. 2026 is more of a quarterback receiver, but it's also 3 years away. You're kind of ready to win now. Then 2025, like we talked about the entire class, even if you have like a mid first round pick, it might not be good. So the fact that you got to give up a late 2025 first, and that counts as an asset, one of 3 assets, that's pretty good for you. I already like it. If I were to trade Bijan for picks, I would try to just make it 24, 26, because that's really how badly I think of the 2025 class. But again, I understand that these are all your rookie picks now. So I'm not going to say that you got him for cheap. I cannot do that because you did pay up for him. You have completely mortgaged off the future for him. But your team's ready, man. If there's ever a time and a player to make this type of move for, it's for a guy like Bijan Robinson. So you did well. Drew did well. I think this is one of those things where, you know, in 2 years down the line, I think both teams will be looking like back at this trade and being very happy that both teams accepted and, you know, came to terms with this trade. I think this will help both teams out tremendously in the long run and the short run for you too.
Yeah, it's one of those leagues where there's not a ton of trades. So I had all my picks were standard. I made no trades with my picks. So it's not like, you know, he can do this and make should I say dynasty day trader moves like you all the time. He was worried about that. Now, he likes to do a little bit of dynasty day trading, sure, but in this league, it's much harder.
For sure.
Matter of fact, out of the 4 leagues, other than the $250 one, that one is abysmal, but you kind of expect that in a public high stakes league. That one's abysmal. Then comes this league. It's, we trade and stuff, but it is a lot of stingy people and it is very few. So you got to kind of get lucky to make a trade. It happens seldomly, as opposed to a
Sure.
lot of other dynasty leagues. There's a trade, a couple trades every week, like nonstop. Like it always happens. So he was worried about that, and he didn't necessarily want to be stuck with another RB or something.
Sure.
Like, so he's like, look, I'm just gonna get these very like high quality picks, and it's done. Some of these guys, I told him, like, don't even like Chase Claypool, like, that's just a plus for you. He's a young guy. Like, I'm like, don't worry about it. Like Jalen Tolbert. I was like, I'm gonna cut him. Like, I didn't sugarcoat it. I was very straight. Like, don't even like count Jalen Tolbert. I'm gonna cut him, but I'm giving him to you. Like, do whatever you want. You have the roster space. Just put him on your roster if you want to cut him.
Sure.
So yeah, these guys aren't that great. And somebody mentioned DPJ, and like I like DPJ in best ball and whatnot, but remember that they drafted Cedric Tillman and they went and got Elijah Moore. So it's like for DPJ to actually be good, you also need Deshaun Watson to get his stuff together, because he was god awful last year. He was like the 35th, 37th best quarterback last
I'm
year.
hoping it was just Rouse, but yeah, it looked terrible for sure.
It was, yeah. So I think he'll bounce out, but I'm just saying all these things got to happen, and then you got to go through the wide receiver totem pole of Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, and a young guy they just drafted, Cedric Tillman. Like, it's a lot of names out there. There's Njoku as well.
Too.
Yeah,
Yep.
Njoku count. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have a huge target share, but he's going to be involved in the offense. He's a good player. It's like, I don't know, dude. Like, in that, he's one of my. I love him as a late pick in best ball. That's a good one. Like, he's getting slept on. I can get him in round 19, round 18.
He's a sleeper then. This is a sleeper, late round sleeper.
Yeah. Well, he was last year too, and that worked out in best ball for me. But again, his ADP is the same because of everything I said. Deshaun QB play a little bit questionable. And they have a ton more wide receivers this year than last year. Was basically just Cooper. They got a lot more. So
they got a whole room now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't do this often. This is not my territory. This is your territory. So
me, yeah.
I was very nervous. I almost couldn't even record the video. Like, armpit sweat was going crazy. Not like I could record, but like I didn't know, like, I mean, I could hit the button, but like, what do I say? Like, I didn't do my intro. I'll do my intro. Yeah, I was like, let me hit the button. I'm like, hi. I'm like a robot. I'm like Mark Zuckerberg. Let me put it like that. I'm like, drink water, say intro, yell, let's draft, act happy. I was dude, because it was like a real trade. Like, this was up to the last second of the draft. So guys, check out that video. I dropped it right there. So the draft got accepted during the beginning of the video. It was pretty intense. People didn't know if their trade was going to get accepted or not. And this, by far, the biggest trade of my life. I've never made a trade with this. I mean, it's just the fact. I've never made a trade with this many pieces. So if you want to go off the numbers, and I never made a trade of this magnitude for a guy like Bijan. So I don't trade a lot.
Can I put this into more context?
Sure.
This would be the biggest trade that I would have ever made if I made it.
Oh,
this big.
For a guy who got bored on a layaway and decided to go from rebuild to win now. That's for a guy who's named Dynasty Day Trader. Right. Yeah, dang.
That's massive. Yeah, this is a massive kahuna for sure. Oh my god.
He was squeezing it, man. He was like at a second. I'm like, he's like, I got to take out this player. I'm like, bro, like, stop. Like, come on. I was like, at the end, I was pretty pissed, and I was like, whatever. Like, what am I gonna say? No. I was like, all right. Take this third or whatever he added. He added a third, or say he wanted to take the Niners kicker. I wanted to take the Niners kicker, but I can't be worried about these silly games, right?
No,
Can't
it's
be worried about his
Bijan,
little
bro.
kid.
Focus on Bijan.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
Niners kicker. I was gonna take him in round 4. I'm like, whatever, Drew, just take the Niners kicker. Do whatever, because Drew's playing games. He's trying to figure out his way in life to go and somehow be fantasy relevant. Like he's on this long journey. He's living, he's learning. I'm like, I'm here. Like I'm trying to be number one. I'm already here. I'm living. I'm in the real world. I can't be worried about kickers and stuff or rookie kickers. So I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to win this league.
I think so
People are
too.
scared.
That's exciting.
Bijan, that's Bijan Robbins. Oh, just one random thing I wanted to add. Round 3 picks matter. I think Scout on the video, it was a total joke, but he said round 3 picks don't matter. He was 100% joking, so I'm not trying to make it. But I just want to say on the record, round 3 picks matter. This is one guy that who knows is going to pan out that I love. Michael Wilson going in round 3. I'm smashing him all the time in rookie drafts. Okay, maybe he's going to be a bust and get injured, whatever. I don't know that, but a guy on my team right now that I'm trying to win with, my RB2 before I got Bijan was Ramondre Stevenson. Got him mid round 3. Ramondre Stevenson. Deontay Johnson. I got him at the end of round 3 in rookie drafts. I've been nailing the 3rd round. I maybe every rookie draft. So it's like these round 3 picks, they really do matter. Round 4, not really. Round 4,
Yeah, maybe
I'd
I
say
should
doesn't
save my
matter.
round 3s. Maybe I should save my round 3s and ask you who should I draft then. Dang, that's pretty
Oh, I
impressive.
don't know. It's a total flyer, but I'm just saying, you got a chance of hitting. I didn't know Ramondre would be great. I just thought it was a good pick at the time. Deontay Johnson, it was, it's a lot of luck involved. So I don't know if I'm going to keep the rate going. I'm not going to boast and say oh, I'm really dope at it, because Deontay, I was between a running back and Deontay Johnson. I don't know if it was Rock Cartwell or whatever. It was some running back. I think it was the Jags rookie.
Yeah.
So that guy was going to be the 3rd string running back on the Jags. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with a Steelers wide receiver. And it was super close. And I ended up going Deontay Johnson.
What a pick.
But
wow.
Third round picks, they really do matter. So get rid of your 5th round and 4th round picks, ladies and gentlemen, and get in the 3rd round, because there's some really good players there. I really do believe you can get a hit, because I feel like the 2nd round is those tier 2 players, and then round 3 is anything can happen. You can get a guy who gets cut before your draft's even over, or you can get a guy who's a good starter next year, like Ramondre Stevenson. You never know.
And the best part is it has nothing to do with how strong the class is. At this point, they're flyers that get drafted every single year. What you're saying will hold true every single year, no matter what. It's cool.
Yeah,
so
it's a total flyer. Yeah, I love those dart throws. That's the thing. In round 4, I don't get anybody. It's just
at that point it's done.
Doesn't even happen. Yeah, because the difference between 4th round and undrafted makes no difference. Chika Okonkwo, sometimes he goes at the end of the draft, sometimes he went undrafted. I got him undrafted, but I got him as a free agent, $0 bid. So he didn't even go drafted. Yeah, so it's 4th round undrafted. I feel like it's the exact same. It don't even matter. It goes so late. But 3rd round picks, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first here on the Fantasy Couch Podcast. They matter.
I like it.
All right, guys, we're gonna end it there. I'm gonna go on Discord and yell. Hit me up on social media if you want a link to the private Discord. I'll catch you guys on the next podcast.